Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of my Hornby hobby. This is going to be something a little bit different because we're going to be running some trains and I'm going to be reading some of your comments. Just because I love reading through comments. I love it whenever I get comments on videos for whatever reason. So we'll get the trains going and then we'll start. So get Thomas going at quite a moderate speed. And then we'll also set Smoky Joe off. Hope you can hear me over all this. Now, I apologise if I butcher any of your names. I'm going to try really hard. So on episode 106, Alfie Gold said, "Very nice, mate. The 040s, I believe without them, Hornby wouldn't be alive today." I agree on that because, as I said in the video, it's how you get into the model railway really, because it's a nice starter engine, especially if you do not know what you're doing. An 040 like Smoky Joe or the D-Tank or the 101 or even some of the diesels, they're great to start you off. So they're heavily underrepresented, as I said. In episode 105, Arthur, I apologise, Bemijo says, "Wow, I'm just so impressed on the maintenance day thing." Thank you very much. It's a small thing that you have to do, but it goes a long way to keeping everything working. On the trip to Golden Valley Part 1, Mason Williams says, "Hi, I go there a lot. With my..." I'm assuming that there was a spelling error there. Because what's been written is TIAD and 9. So was that supposed to be mum and dad or something? I don't know. Yeah, if it was, I used to go there pretty much all the time with my dad, especially during the summer holidays. On episode 98, Ghost Engineer, love that name, says, "I have a similar set with the D-Class, very underrated locomotives and sets. I have a few Hornby 040s, all are great running and fun to play with." I agree. The same as the first comment. You know, the very underrated locomotives. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten into this this whole thing had it not been for the industrial freight set that I bought. And from Ghost Engineer again, on episode 22, they say, "I love the D-Class tanks, although unrealistic, they do look so British, which I like." So, yeah, they do have sort of British charm to them. It's the sort of thing that you could see on like a heritage railway, and it's just in preservation, and it's just pulling a couple of coaches, you know, that kind of thing. And in 104 again, and episode 104, another one from Ghost Engineer. "Great video, your layout is coming along now." Thank you. It's still got a long way to go yet before it gets anywhere near where I want it to be, but it's definitely on the right track. I specifically planned that pod. We've got two comments on episode 100 when we did the big reveal. One was from Carl Payne, 10 out of 10. Thank you, Carl. And one was from Mr. T. "Wow, looks amazing. Glad all your hard work has paid off." Yes, it is quite hard work to get this going. I mean, we've had to build this up from literally nothing, from just literally one set, and it's gradually grown into this. You know, a baseboard with scatter material on it. It looks better. I mean, again, as I said, there's still more to do, but that's no problem. On episode 99, Mr. T says, "Can't wait to see the big layout. Love watching your videos." Thank you. I'm really glad you like it. Now the next one is quite a long one, which was on the planning your layout, episode 97. So I'll just read the first line. "First, I recommend anyone deciding to work with Hornby Track or any UK track to download either Google or Apple from App Store. The HMDC application is 100% free and allows you to work from Hornby track plans or build your own. Now, I do plan on getting the HM6000 controller and doing it that way. I don't know when, but I would love to do that because I'd love to be maybe over there, and then I can control the locomotives from there, or I could just be wandering around the layout doing bits and pieces, and I can be controlling it from my phone. On episode 92 of the Building a Shunting Layout Part 5, James Hardy says, "Nice mate." On episode 74 we got 2 comments from Scooby2142, which actually did help with repairing the tender drive locomotives. I've just seen one of your later videos on this loco, and I think you fitted the conrod spaces on the middle wheels incorrectly. The short space should go next to the wheel, followed by the conrod, then the larger spacer, then the valve gear rods, then the fitting screw. I hope you get it fixed. Which, yes, that is one thing that I did do. I'd forgotten how the valve gear went on, so I did it the wrong way round. And when I looked at some of the other locos that I have, that have that sort of valve gear, it does seem that I did it wrong. I'm not going to read the second one because it's a bit too long. My first thought is the tender should not be able to drive on its own. But for God's sake, there's always summer. There's always summer. Right, we'll just pause the reading comments to sort out Thomas's coaches, which aren't even Thomas's. They're actually just generic coaches. I've not got any in Clarabelle because they're on the siding. Don't know why Tom's derailed there. Nothing really wrong with the track. Okay, away we go again. Right, there we go. My first thought is the tender should not be able to drive on its own. It's wired wrong inside. The loco itself will pick up current from the non-insulated wheels and pass it through its own frame to the piece of copper you showed. That should be fitted to the coupling between the loco and tender. Now, as I showed in that video, the tender just whizzed around on its own. As soon as I tried to couple it up to the loco, it caused a load of short circuits. But I've managed to sort it. There's no more short circuits now, and it does run a lot better. So that's good. On the 9F is fixed kind of episode, Scooby2142. Thomas, for crying out loud, said you hold up the loco up, showing the spaces on the centre wheel motion. I think that they need interchanging as the longer one is forced the conrod out of position. Yes, that is one thing that was wrong with actually both of my tender drives, especially the Golden Plover, because I'd taken the valve gear on and off so many times it had bent it. So that's why it was kind of limping along like that. But I managed to straighten it out enough to get it to work. Mark Rice on the same video says, great to see a new layout and you coming to the hobby. I've been meaning to go back into the hobby for quite a while, especially since I started watching Sam's Trains like quite early into 2020. I was, just some of his videos popped into my feed, and I was thinking to myself, I'd love to get back into model railways. And then once we had the chance, went to the Cotswolds and I bought the industrial freight set, and here we are. Manny Matman, love that name, says super glue the golden gear wheel. That was with regards to the tender drive because it looked like the gear was slipping, but it was actually my stupid doing because I'd squeezed the wheels in too far, and that's what it was doing it. On episode 41, Pauline Hunter says, I believe that isn't actually oil, just a combination of chemicals, and it drives out, it leaves a sticky residue. and you have to keep adding more and more to stop parts from coming up. Like you, I use sewing machine oil and apply it with a toothpick to avoid using too much. It works excellently, and as you say, it's cheap. Yeah, this is what I use. I'm going to need a refill soon. Sewing machine oil, it really does the trick. And especially if you get like a syringe, like a medical syringe, you can really put the oil where you want it. That's exactly how Sam's trained does it. We've got 3 comments on Ginting the Trucks, episode 82. Mr. T, another great video. I do believe GNSR stands for Great Northern and Strand Railway. So thank you very much for that, Mr. T, because I had no idea what the hell it meant. Manny Matt Man says, put the asbestos back in and give it a drink of vape oil. I think it may be the railway children train. Which it does look like it's that livery. You can get a pannier tank in that livery. Also, you may remember that I actually took something that looks like cotton wool out of the smoke box. That was asbestos. Okay, and I actually touched that with my hands. So I'm probably going to die in about 40 years from asbestosis. It was probably chrysolite. Long story short, I know a thing or two about asbestos. We get a refresher course, or we used to get a refresher course every year where I worked, and it was just so dull and boring. It was the same things over and over again. But basically the reason why that was in there was to help it smoke, to make it look like a steam engine. Mark Hemel Down MR says, have you ever repaired a smoke box? I have one that when I fill with liquid it spills out the bottom. Going to take it apart and have a look. Nice bargains you got there, by the way. Which was on the Ginty again, when I got the Ginty and the 2 trucks from Hina Antique Centre. No, I've never really repaired a smoke box. I've never had to do anything like that because that was the first smoking locomotive I ever had. We've got time for probably a few more. So on building a new layout part 3, which was episode 80, Mark Hemmeldown MR says, hey, just came across your channel, keep up the good work. Thank you very much, I thoroughly intend to. Mr. T again, another great video. Maybe you can find a way of connecting this to your main layout but still be able to remove it when you want, possibly using your turntable. That was quite a nice idea, I have to admit. So then if I ever wanted to do some shunting, instead of picking the locomotives off this layout, have it connect to that one so that then they have to run on to the shunting layout and then I can just take it away, which would be a nice idea, but I kind of want this layout to be solely completely separate from this, you know. And finally, Manny Matt Man says, don't breathe in that MDF dust, mate. Dust looking good, mate. I have spent years breathing in MDF dust and sawdust and all sorts of stuff. I'm fine. And that does it for this video. So we'll be continuing on more of your comments and reading some more, running some more trains in the next episode. So until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Always much appreciated. Until next time, stay safe and thanks for watching.